I strongly disagree with this 11th hour appropriation of the current year's projection budget surplus at the same time that the 2007 and 2008 budget is being prepared by the Mayor's office. The Mayor has indicated publicly that the passage of this ordinance will result in all city departments cutting back their respective budgets by additional 3%, on top of the 3% reduction they started with. Since the anticipated surplus has already been rolled into next year's budget, in other words, every dollar that we spend today has to be cut from next year's budget. This is not a productive way to do business. We should wait until the budget process begins and then evaluate each funding suggestion based on its merits. I understand that this sort of business is what's happening last year at this time, but that is not an excuse for poor fiscal management of our tax dollars. I don't doubt that support from various interest groups who stand to benefit from the appropriation will pressure many of the board to vote for this package today. But I must say that this preemptive strike on next year's budget process does not bode well for a productive budget season, and I'm sorry to see this happen, and I am voting no on this. Thank you.
Supervisor Duffy.
Thank you, colleagues, and thank you, Mr. President. I want to reflect on my colleague Supervisor Jew's comments, because some of them I just can't let go past.
And that's why I say to the chair of the Budget Committee, I sat back, and there was fear on the part of people that the chair might run a much larger supplemental and perhaps taken some of the prerogatives of the mayor, or what he may or may not be able to do in June 1st when this budget comes forward. And I agree with him that there's going to be more good news. These giant office buildings continue to change hands in this city. And it's an amazing phenomenon that we have to be so grateful that these billion-dollar buildings in downtown change hands, and that the crumbs that we get off of property transfer tax enable us to do a few good things around here. So I say to you, I'll vote for the special interest this time.
We have balanced the budget every time. We have a healthy reserve. We have a superlative bond rating. We can afford to do this. Our fiscal people know that. Our controller knows that. The mayor knows that. And let me say, coming along with alarmist nonsense that every department now has to reduce their budget by 3% when it is absolutely not true is irresponsible, and all of us here at the Board of Supervisors
know that. A roll call, please. Supervisor Ellsburn, your response. Your comments.
President Peskin. Just, you know, Supervisor, it really is almost talking to a wall. I think we're just going to have to respectfully disagree here. But we'll all remember this discussion, this debate, when we're in the middle of those budget hearings. And we hear all the other demands for where money needs to come from. And we've made this a priority. Fine, it's a priority, but understand when we've got to say no to these chambers packed, we've exacerbated this deficit by $28 million today.